You're live, Alan.
I'm live when Jesse tells me I'm live, TJ. I know that it says live, but until Jesse says we're live, apparently we're not. Jesse, are we live, buddy?
25 seconds in.
All right. that was a well-executed start, getting right off. Okay. Welcome to a safe place to share our stories. Diane, how do we actually pronounce this show in Blackfoot? What's it called?
I haven't rehearsed it enough.
I thought you said you were going to announce it today.
No.
What did she say?
Did.
Like 3 minutes
when
ago?
I said, "Are you going to announce the name of our show today?" She said, "Yes."
Oh, no, I didn't hear you right.
All right.
Here
TJ,
we go.
Are you prepared?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a mouthful, but that beautifully said. Woo! That's very nice. So you might have noticed that we do not have Sister Annette around the table here. Oh, TJ, what kind of journey is she on?
She has been invited by a couple of our local Treaty 7 elders to have her and her husband accompany them down to Chicago, where in one of the museums, they are going down to repair a sacred headdress.
Quite an honor, right? And it's kind of like where she's kind of in an apprenticeship thing, right? To be able to learn how to do this, correct? That's sort of what this means, correct?
Yeah, I think so. I know it's I don't know if I've heard the words a transfer yet of those rights, but I do know it's an honor to be asked and to accompany. And so, yeah, she's in Chicago this week.
Yeah.
Will be joining us today or next Monday.
Yes. And then she's going to share with us a report afterwards, so which we're very much looking forward to.
Yeah. She'll report on what she can.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, got it. So anyways, I'll look forward to whatever she wants to share about her journey and about what, she's learned. And I'm sure there's going to be new things she's learned about her culture on this journey in Chicago, right? That's what's going to happen. I got to believe. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's nice to have Diane back.
It is. We missed her smiling face for a couple of weeks here, but here she is again. How nice.
I have a conflict on Monday nights sometimes because I'm on a board and they meet on Monday nights.
Was that like an apprenticeship board? Is that what you said it was, Di?
No, it's the Skills Society.
Skills Society?
Right. Which is
that's about building skill in youth. Is that what it's about?
It's supporting young adults and seniors with developmental disabilities. So it's the young adult senior version of Inclusion Alberta.
Okay, perfect.
Inclusion Alberta support.
And have you been on that board a long time? Oh, sorry.
1 year.
1 year. Excellent. Well, that's some amazing work for some people really, could use some supports and really, that it'd be, they need the supports to be able to have the most fulsome life they can, right? And that's awesome. Yeah, excellent.
Support them in employment and independent living and social skills, connections, recreational activities, that kind of thing.
Right. Okay. So we have like Ability Resource Center here. Are they a sister organization, correct? Is that right?
They would be in the same kind of a genre.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Excellent. So what else should we chat about? Oh, wait a minute. We want to chat about Diane's book being available on her website. Oh my goodness. Let me find this and put it in the chat. How do I do this? Hang on. I know what I'm going to do. I'll edit this. I'll put this in. Okay, let's see what that says. Yes, It's got Diane's website also on that link that's scrolling across. And that's where you can go to check out her book. The book is called Could This Be Grace? You could also look here on this YouTube channel and find a series called Could This Be Grace? 6 parts that Diane and I did about her book. So you could certainly do that. And you could probably get an autographed copy from the author. I think I can make that claim.
Probably.
Diane, when is your when and where is your book launch?
I don't know. I think Roy's upstairs talking about it right now.
Awesome.
So are you going to have like in a store launch kind of a thing?
I have no idea. I left it to him to organize. Gave him a job to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's great.
Something that's kind of cool on the website is I partnered with my sister, and she has a selection of disability bears.
Disability bears. What does that mean?
She makes them.
She makes them. So
like, so they got like a missing arm or something, and then a child who's got a missing arm gets it. Is that kind of the way it works?
She had made one for my son Ben, and the bear has a white cane and it has a trach. And then she's made another bear that you come in behind in its arms or paws. You can put your hands so you can do sign language for deaf and hard of hearing. She's got another one in a wheelchair.
Oh, those are cool.
They're very cool.
What a great tool for interaction, right? For having a real meaningful type of an exchange, eh? That's awesome.
Yeah. So she takes fur coats that people no longer want to wear, that don't know what to do with them, and she makes these bears, and she makes memory bears is what she calls them. So people can have their fur coats transformed into bears if they want.
Interesting. Yeah, that's amazing. Huh.
So
cool.
Yeah, so she just went on there today.
Well, that's great. TJ, you and you know this, that I also invited Trina and Amanda. Yeah, Amanda Scout. Why do I keep forgetting Amanda's name? I invited Trina and Amanda. We were in a thing together last Thursday, and we talked a lot about Indigenous relations, that kind of a thing. And we were sitting beside each other. Actually, the 3 of us were on the same group. And so we had this lovely exchange. And I said, well, why don't you come on the show, Trina, and share with us, right? And because she's the co-chair of the Truth and Reconciliation in Lethbridge, right? And they're doing all kinds of work that I didn't know. So then I was having her explain a bunch of stuff that I was learning about, and learning earlier in the week about how you be an ally. Okay, what's involved with that? So things I didn't know. So anyways, they were pretty cool about the idea. Like that, so I encouraged them. I told them they would have fun, but they in the end, they said that they had to prepare for a meeting tomorrow, so they couldn't come tonight. So I just invited them. And if you're watching, inviting you, come and talk with us. We're friendly. Come talk with us. And so if, that we can have that conversation, I think it'd be amazing. So they're very much involved in community building and providing an Indigenous female lens to our conversations. So that's.
I'm curious. Why don't we build on that? Why don't we build on what was one something you heard, or one of your takeaways? What is one thing that you might want to explore further? And maybe just a conversation with Diane and I might help it go a little deeper.
All right. Well, that sounds like a great idea. So I think Diane probably knows about this, but you might not. I don't know. Let me try this and see what you think. I believe that I have a purpose to my soul now. I have, which is funny, those words coming out of my mouth, because I've avoided people who've ever hinted that they had some kind of purpose, or they had some kind of mission, or they were an instrument of the Creator, those kind of words. but I believe myself to be an instrument of the Creator who has a soul's purpose to fulfill. And I'm trying to figure out how to do that. The soul's purpose that I see is to, I can't call it this, but the soul's purpose I see is, I'm calling it liberty over violence. That's what I'm calling it. And the rationale is a very upstream, preventative approach on violence. So where you engage a great number of individuals, one at a time, who say, you know what, I would be fine understanding where resources are in our community and understanding what violence or suffering might look like, and understanding where the resources are, so that if I experience somebody in my network who is having challenges in their life, I know how to help them. So I see this as like the solution. Like I keep on preaching this, and I keep on saying it, and people, sometimes they smile and nod, and like sometimes they avert their eyes. I don't know what I'm asking that's too much, but there's something wrong with how I'm asking it, or because I think this is real simple. If TJ knows 100 people, and you do, and TJ sends to her 100 people, her community, says, you know what, I want to be of value to my community, my people. And if you are experiencing challenges in your life, I'm familiar with where the resources are. If you want a non-judgmental assistance with whatever challenge you're having in your life, because we all have challenges from time to time, I want to be here to help you. And, you know, Sarah, TJ's friend, calls Sarah and said, TJ, I'm like really worried. I think I'm going to get beat or raped or something's going to happen. Blah, blah, blah. Here's my circumstance, right? And TJ knows where the resources are, gets Sarah the help she needs. Sarah never experiences that violence. Sarah's kids never have to see her experience that violence, right? Her kids don't get drawn into that violence. So anyways, that's kind of, I don't know of a better solution, but I at this point haven't found anybody who says, hallelujah, that's it. Where do I sign up? Let's go. So if you can tell me how I'm pooching the whole deal about how I'm presenting that, I would love to know.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind for me,
Yes.
we have, I would say, a form of that model up here up north.
Nice.
And I think it would be a great connect for you, to then figure out how it might help you move your idea and your work forward. So we
Beautiful.
have 3 of them in the Parkland tri-region area, and they're called a community connector.
Okay. Perfect. Beautiful.
And so I don't know who your target clientele is, but right now our community connectors primary clientele is our youth in our schools.
Youth in the schools.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the connectors, the people who are there for the youth in the schools, they're same age, or they're older, they're adults?
They're adults.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
they're-
They're adults who identify in the school that I'm the community connector people, or 2 or 3 of them are the community connector people.
yes.
Yes. Okay,
Yep.
cool. Excellent. That's beautiful. Right. So and you know what? Some of this is already going on, I am sure. In this case, the community connectors are then paid staff, correct?
Yep.
Right. And I'm not anything wrong with paying people. Like, everybody should get paid. Like, everybody needs a paycheck. Like, I'm not trying to in any way say that people shouldn't get paid to do good things. But for those that don't need a paycheck, who are in a position where they would just like to be of value to people in their community and say, I can do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I think we could have this huge support, a huge group of informal network support.
Mm-hmm.
And in most cases, when people are having problems in their life, they don't like call up to book an appointment with a social worker. They talk to somebody in their network. And if that person in their network is like aghast, is uncomfortable, it rejects, doesn't want to hear it, that kind of a thing, that person might not make another attempt for a year or 2 years or 10 years. Right?
Yeah,
So
that's
what
true.
happens in the meantime? They suffer.
Yeah, it's true. I love the concept. I think that for me, when I think about creating those kinds of connections, it's really about um, making sure that they're current, that they're available, that they're up to date, and so that when that person does reach out, that you're giving them the most recent and valuable information possible.
Yeah, exactly. And that basically the concept is there's no wrong doors, right?
Mhm, mhm.
All of us, any of us, like in a perfect world, any of us express to somebody else, hey, I am suffering because of this, whatever this is, right?
Yeah.
And then somebody else would be able to easily say, I want to help. You have a need, I want to help. Right now, I'm available. I can do that, right? Another day, it might be exact opposite. So today, I'm available and want to be able to be of value to you, right?
Mhm.
So I think that's, I love that there's community connectors that, it's a concept, it works. I just think it has to be more broader and more focusing on informal type supports, like not, I'm not a social work police officer, legal expert, that all I want to do is know enough to guide somebody to the resources they need to stay safe.
Yep.
That's kind of what my thought process is.
Nice. What
Hey,
are your
what do we
thoughts,
call it?
Ryan?
What do we call it besides it can't use violence in it, right? So liberty over violence doesn't work. So what do you call it that focuses on more aspirational, or violence gets no play? Violence isn't referenced. If you're watching this and you got an idea, text it on in here or put it in the chat. Give me a call. Any thoughts, Di? You've been fairly quiet. Now's your time to shine.
Now's my time to shine. I'm thinking.
Okay.
Um, I'm just going to build on TJ's thought a little more on the community connectors.
Okay.
I had a personal experience with a community connector, and what she referred to herself as was a hope carrier.
A hope carrier. Oh, that's
And
beautiful.
what she described to me was that when she actually got involved with our family and showed up at the door and saw, oh my gosh, this family has lost capacity to find hope. So I'm going to be the hope carrier for them. But what that
Mm.
looked like, or how that played out, was it was an actual position, a salaried position, but she was able to work fluidly across a number of systems because
Mm.
the systems saw her as an asset to shared clients. Because what happens in system when they're siloed, it's really of the systems to navigate through the complexity of systems. And
Okay.
what happens to
Hold,
families is they
Di, can I
they
just interject one thing? Do you like hope? I love this. Or is there like a whole network of hope carriers? Like, if I did a Google search of provincial employees, I get like 75 hope
no,
carriers in the province?
no, TJ and I were just starting that work in Parkland based on the experience that I had, and it was a big aha because it made a huge difference in my own personal story.
Yeah.
And so what we were trying to do, and that's why we have 3 of them in Parkland, is we try to create these positions that were viewed as part of every system. Every system accepted them. Because what happens if you're accepted in a system is then you have the awareness and the understanding of what's available in that system. If we just leave it to chance and informal, you might not know what you don't know, and you might not therefore be able to make the connection that would be the connection that should be made for the family at that particular time.
Okay, so let me just make sure I'm following you. In your case, with the acute needs of your boys and of their family and caring for your boys, in that case, you were able to, or you were assigned, or you advocated and got a Hope connector to be part of your team. Yes.
That's right. Because
Okay.
what happened when we first got involved with her is how she started to work with us is she would ask the question, so what are you worried about today? What is it today that's feeling challenging or difficult to move through? And um, it wasn't her coming in with her expertise and
Right.
her training or whatever and making an assessment of what I needed. It was on
Right.
a day-to-day. It was a friendly face. It was somebody that listened. It was somebody that said exactly that. What is it today that's getting in the way? And then she
Right.
helped
That
them.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love
Right.
that. And so then
But
that is now that role you're
to try to
you're
grow it.
trying to expand to the Park Lake School Division, correct?
Right. Scale it
Okay.
up. So, because I think it's really necessary, particularly in siloed systems, because so many
Yes.
challenges that people face is multi-system perspectives. It's not just one
Yes.
system that's responding or that needs to respond. It's many, and
Right.
systems don't kind of work together seamlessly. So
Oh,
you need this little connector that everybody says, yeah, this is helping all of us, and in turn helping a family.
yes. The whole, it's amazing, but you think about it, right? People who are incredibly successful in their careers or, make life look easy, a medical challenge, even people who are really good at running life, a medical challenge could be beyond their capacity to navigate because it's so damn complicated, right? And it's such a scary, a fear driven time that you're in, right? So to get the supports and the comforts to kind of move forward when you're experiencing a failure of health is to get those other supports is super helpful, right? Like that's, I guess, what I'm trying to get at.
So the informal part of what your dream is for the community to be aware of how valuable these connectors could be. So any touch that they have, they can connect those families to the connector. And then
Yeah.
it's the connector, because if I, as a lay person out there in the community, encountered somebody that had experienced violence or was troubled and needed help, and I said, so what's getting in the way today? And they said, oh, food security. And I'm going, uh-oh. I I don't know where to, right? So you
Yeah.
could, so you
Well,
really need to have somebody that has some knowledge, some training, some ability to really make those connections and
yes.
know what's available and who's out there and how to access them and how to reduce some kinds of barriers.
Mhm.
Yes, that's beautifully said. TJ, what were I think you were going to jump in there a moment ago, weren't you?
No, I think, like I said, I think the biggest thing is making sure that the information is current, right?
Yes.
Like, I think that's key. But I guess one thing that was coming to mind as Diane was talking is that, you know, if there was this, if we were to scale this up so that the layperson could refer them to, these provincial people or however that's looking, is to make sure that there's consistency as well in like the mapping of that, of knowing, um, because obviously the resources in Lethbridge are different than the resources in Edmonton, and then are also different than in our smaller rural communities, who don't always seem to have the same kind of access as the urban areas, right? So
Yeah.
again, you know, knowing what is available, I think is absolutely key, and having this map continue to grow as new organizations come on board and, um, new
Yeah.
resources come on board.
Yeah. So Di, I get your point, and it's entirely, great if we're all aware of community connectors, the network exists. We could say, oh, here's somebody who really needs some assistance, and encourage them to get in touch with the community of community connectors, right? But how many community connectors are there in the province of Alberta at this time?
Not too many.
No. That, I think, is the issue, is I don't think we could hire enough community connectors. Not that we wouldn't want to. I don't think we could generate enough tax dollars to pay enough community connectors. I think this is kind of where there has to be volunteer supports to support the professional networks that are out there. So totally fine with what you're saying, Diane, but there still has to be the network to make that happen, right? And I think part of that can be done by just volunteers, I think. But I guess that part of it, I think people are scared of that. It sounds like too much. It sounds like it's going to be whatever, scary, or they're going to get themselves in some way, make themselves unsafe. But I don't think it has to in anywhere get to that stage. Just sharing resources and knowing where resources are at and being open to the conversation.
I think having big shoulders and non-judgmental listening ears is a huge key piece of all of this.
Yeah.
Sure.
And as Diane's saying, like in your person who assisted you, it seems like he was a very beautiful human being, very compassionate and caring, but then asking you, like, what do you need right now? Like, what today would help you through this day or make tomorrow a better day, right? That's in essence the question you were asked, correct?
That's right. But you have to, if you're going to ask the question, you should actually be in a position to be able to answer it.
Yes.
When there's a response, because it's vulnerable. You create vulnerability. And if you open that door and then it falls flat because you don't have an answer and you don't know what to do, you've just reinforced for that person,
right,
that that you don't want to tell your story again.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's the tricky trick here, I think.
Yes. I love where just the insights we've had here. Again, back to the hope idea or the hope carriers type concept. Is that what you think I want to, in a fairly direct way, speak to violence? So, but not using violence, not using the word violence. So is hope what would be the solution or the antidote to violence? Or what do you think that would be?
I don't know, the word safe comes to mind for me.
Faith?
Safe.
Yes, safe. Good one, TJ. Good one. Yeah, I like that. And that, I don't know if you remember, we had that conversation before about that eagle's nest before as an indigenous concept that somebody shared with me. I don't know who, but that was the point, right? Somebody's in an unsafe environment and a place to have them, so they're going to be safe, right? And that's kind of the same concept, right? Somebody expresses, I'm not safe, through their words, their actions, and then you're able to assist them to keep them safe and avoid that trauma from occurring, right? Is the thought.
So are you looking for language for a role? Like this navigator or this connector, she dubbed herself and named herself a hope carrier because she saw a situation in the absence of hope. She was going to step in and be the carrier of hope. So in your situation, these individuals are stepping in where there's violence to create or carry safety. So is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
We're kind of like a safety patrol.
A safety patrol kind of, yeah. And Angie Orange said, keep faith less than 3 sign. Less than, yeah. So I'm not sure what that, thanks, Angie Orange, for watching. Not sure what your comment means, but appreciate it. I think so.
What was the comment?
Yeah, can you see the comments?
No.
We can't.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. My bride now is getting in it. Hang on a second. My wife is commenting on here too, but I can't find it.
Is she saying time's up?
Yeah. Given the hook. Where did it go? Oh, wait a minute. Here's what Corolla says. How is what you're talking about different than System Navigator? Well, good question, Corolla. Okay, so Corolla has heard me describe System Navigator 87,000 times. I have told so many people about System Navigator, which is exactly what I told you earlier. I might not have described it as System Navigator, but that's what I envision that System Navigator is supposed to be doing. And we have a network here, but it's not really at its functional capacity. It's not really doing what I think it's supposed to do yet. An example, we have a friend, and that friend is having a challenge in their life. And I hear about this challenge, and it's an awkward situation. There's Jim here, married to Angie somewhere else. Angie and Jim have these kids that Angie's been taking care of. Angie gets them to come down and visit with Jim and his bride, Sarah, I'm going to say. None of these are real names, just making it up. And then the mom, the biological mom says, you keep him, I don't want him back. Okay, so that's a challenge. So the new mixed, the couple, the biological father and his new wife, the new wife wants nothing to do in this situation. She's like, I got my own shit. I don't want to get involved in this. And the kids have huge problems. The daughter is cutting herself, and the daughter's talking very, saying horrible, horrible things about herself. And the son is trying to sexually touch the daughter. So this is complicated type things. And the birth mom has just said, nope, not interested, right? And the stepmom says, nope, not interested. And the dad, I don't know if he's interested or he has the capacity, but these kids where are they, right? They're not wanted, period, right? And in this is just going to get worse and worse and worse. What's the right resource? Hell if I know. So what did I do? I called the System Navigator person that I know who's coordinated and say, what do you do? So she gave me a couple phone numbers, and I just passed those phone numbers along. Was that enough? Probably not. It was something. It was maybe of help, hopefully, but it probably wasn't enough. So I need to find me a hope navigator who knows this task better than I do. So will you contact me with your community connectors and your hope navigator? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Please do. Please do. We are like 33 minutes. Anything we want to close with here? TJ?
Just our Okie.
Yes. Oh, man. How soon they forget. Thanks, Sister TJ. Glad you're here. Keeping me on track. I need all the help I can get. Wait with me.
Okay.
Okie. Okie and welcome.
We acknowledge that we're gathered on the lands of the Blackfoot people of the Canadian Plains.
We pay respect to the Blackfoot people's past,
present,
and future.
We recognize the thousands of Indigenous peoples
From many diverse nations,
call after home.
including members of the Blackfoot Confederacy,
the Six Gates,
Akana,
Ikani,
Siksika,
Amskapi people,
as well as other First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. We respect Indigenous peoples' cultural heritage,
beliefs,
truth
and relationship to the land.
that stretches back in time.
We will not blink at history.
We will not blink at history.
And we will learn from it.
Okie is an invitation.
A step forward.
In Blackfoot, Oki means hello.
Oki means hello.
Hello. Okay.
Okay.
Okie. And welcome to the lands of the Blackfoot people.
Before we end, TJ, you're still here. Diane, you're still here. Oki means hello. We just learned that. What do you say for goodbye? I say Gidematsin, which I think means see you later. But is there another word that's like a short word like Oki that's goodbye?
I don't think we have a word for goodbye.
Because you're always just so happy to see each other and never say goodbye. Mavis Staples says, always howdy, howdy, never, never goodbye, when she's talking about being in heaven. That's just exactly like the Blackfoot people, perhaps. So,
Yeah.
great. Good night. See you next week. Look forward to it. Thanks.